Thanks for joining us today on OS Talks. I'm here with Andy Miller, the founder of Rocket Theme. And if you've ever used Joomla or pretty much any CMS, you've probably heard of Rocket Theme, one of the best and the biggest, certainly, theming and templating companies out there. So, Andy, welcome to OS Talks. It's great to have you here today.
Thanks very much.
Tell us a little bit about yourself personally.
Well, I'm currently living in Golden, Colorado, in the States. I've lived in the States for about 25 years. Formerly, I lived in England. I'm a dual citizen now. So
awesome.
Yeah. So we're a completely virtual company. So all our guys are spread out all over the world, in the States, Europe, Asia. So we all work from home, and I think that's one of the greatest benefits of working for Rocket Theme. And it's really an awesome experience to be able to work on something that you love from the comfort of your own home.
It sure is. That sounds like OSTraining. So tell us a little bit about Rocket Themes. How long has it been in existence, and kind of what got you started?
I've always been interested in web design. Even back when I was in university, I was doing web development back when the web was just starting up. And I did my degree in computer engineering, and I was a programmer pretty much, but always had a love for design. And then I was working at HP, and I was just not really satisfied with where my career was going. It was just kind of, work. And I was still dabbling with web design, so I just pretty much started doing contract work. And it grew into more and more work, and I started a small business, and then I was looking for CMSs to help me build designs on top of, so I wouldn't have to repeat a lot of the grunt work that happens underneath. And I found Mambo, and became quite involved in the Mambo project, and obviously that evolved into Joomla. So I was involved in the move to Joomla and the development of that brand and everything, and the project itself. And then while that was happening, I basically evolved my company into a Mambo and then a Joomla templating company, and it just grew of its own accord, really, and until we're here today.
Right. You were pretty much one of the first companies that got into that whole templating kind of membership process.
Yeah,
right?
I think so. There were a couple of other companies out there, but there really wasn't much, and there wasn't much across the board, not just for Joomla, but for all the platforms that were emerging at that time. Right. There really wasn't any concerted effort to produce high-quality templates. It was kind of ad hoc or for specific projects, custom development each time. And I think there's a lot of value in companies that specialize in this, because right. There's just so much that you learn over the years, and this is valuable information that helps make our templates as good as they can be.
Right. Well, of course, again, as soon as you start to talk about Joomla templating, one of the first names that comes up is always Rocket Theme. And you guys have been producing just excellent templates for a long, long time. So congratulations.
Thank
you. In light of that, and kind of connected to that, can you talk a little bit about the creative process, maybe as you started, and then how is the creative process that you guys go through? How has it changed through the years? Because I know it has. So.
It's changed a lot. When I first started Rocket Theme, I would start working on a design about 3 days before I had to deliver the design, the whole template actually. So you'd work on the design, and it took about a few hours, and then you'd slice it up in Fireworks or something, and then you'd start writing the HTML, and it was very simplistic. There wasn't much to do. And then over the years, templates have become much more powerful, feature-rich, and the development process has become much more involved. But the creative process itself now usually involves a core team of 2 or 3 guys coming up with some ideas for a general direction for the template that we want to design, and we normally take into account the most important thing is customer requests. So we have a very active forum with a great community of web developers and Joomla users, and we get a lot of requests through our forum for particular kinds of designs, and we usually look at those and take those into account, and pick something that we maybe haven't done in a while. What we pride ourselves on here at Rocket Theme is doing a lot of different styles of templates, not just the same kind of thing again and again with slight color variations or slight changes. We like to really try and do different things month to month. We know we'll never satisfy everybody every month. We try to satisfy a bunch of people every month, so that over the course of, say, a year, everybody with every different taste and style has had some satisfaction that some of the templates are what they're looking for. So so that factors in. We try to see what we've done recently, and we'll try and do something different if we've kind of done a few the same. We'll have a small team come up with those ideas. We'll work with our designer. We'll do some mock-ups, make some suggestions. Usually we hit the nail on the head pretty quickly, and then we'll just do a whole bunch of color variations and styles, pick the best ones, and then we pass that on to the developers who can take that and create the template from it.
And it's all done virtually?
All done virtually, yeah. We use HipChat, which is a great tool for online collaboration.
Okay.
It's like a cross between IRC and Skype.
Okay.
So yeah, and then we use screen sharing and on voice calls through GoToMeeting.
Okay.
To be able to do our voice communication where we need to have real one-on-one type conversations.
I appreciate you sharing some of those tools. I know that's one thing people always ask when you start to work virtually. There's so many tools out there, so that's really, really helpful. One follow-up question to that: when it comes to innovation, and you've got a pretty big team now, how do you, as a leader, how do you manage that process, keep it fresh, keep it vibrant? And like you said, you get a lot of input from users, but how does that translate for you as a manager or leader of the company?
So you mean the actual, for the templates themselves, or just for the spirit of the company, to keep it fresh for the company?
Yeah, I think, but a little bit of both. I mean, I think one drives the other.
Yeah, well, I think from a company perspective, we just try and keep it really fun. We have a very relaxed atmosphere. We're all as much friends as we are coworkers. We basically hang out on our channels and chit chat and joke around and stuff. So it's a real fun atmosphere, to be a part of. And we play games together, online games and stuff like that. So it's fun that way. So it's a place you want to go. At least it's what I'm hoping. It's a place where you want to come to work and try and do great things. The other thing is, one of the really cool things about doing templates is we can do cutting edge stuff. We're not trying to satisfy a specific client who has very specific requirements. We basically are able to just come up with cool things and try them out. And, sometimes they work better than other times, but we can really push the limit and ride the bleeding edge of web development. And as a web developer, that's a really awesome thing to be able to do, because not often do you have a web development job where you can be looking at all the current trends and current techniques and actually try them. That's what we do. And I think that's what helps bring a lot of the freshness to the template designs too, is that capability that we have to be able to use techniques that might not necessarily be able to be used in other situations. And we normally will build our templates in such a way that a lot of this functionality can be turned off if you don't need it. But the fact that we can have it there for people that do want it, I think it's a really cool thing. Right.
Well, two questions about your company. I want to look back for a minute, and then I want to look forward for a minute. What's been the biggest challenges that you've faced in building a company around Joomla? What do you think has led to your success as a company. You are successful, and that's awesome. What kinds of things, looking back, would you say, okay, so these are the things we did right, maybe some of the lessons learned, and in building the company to where it is today? And then we'll look forward in just a minute.
It's kind of a hard question because it's not something that I've sat down and really thought that much about.
Right.
To be honest, haven't had time. There just never seems to be a dull moment, that's for sure. I think one of the important parts that has made Rocket Team successful is the fact that we really focused on our community from the start. And to me, that was one of the main aspects of the Rocket Team community and the experience. Was basically our forums are the lifeblood of the company. We put a lot of effort into our forums. We have a lot of moderators that are very active, doing their best to help out. And I feel like that has been one of our major success points. One of the major reasons that we are where we are today. So we're not just selling a product and then that's it. Right. We don't talk to you anymore. We want you to be a part of the Rocket Team community as a whole and interact with each other. And in fact, most of our team members are from our community. We've basically hired them on as a moderator, say, for the forum, as they've become more helpful and gained experience. And then we've brought them on, part-time, and then we brought them on full-time, and now they're developing templates. So most of our team is basically self-grown. Right. And what that means is, one, they're passionate about Rocket Team. Two, they understand the products really well and our mentality and how we work and our drive for, perfection, which is also sometimes hard to know when to draw the line, because we always want to make it as good as it can be. So that's really helped too. There certainly have been some things that we know we can do better at. Support is always going to be the hardest thing, and we really, really do try on support with our forum and so forth, but it's such a time resource sucking thing that never have enough support. Right. But we're really going to try in the future to work on that. And one of those things is we're really taking our documentation seriously for our next version of our website. We have a full-time technical writer now. We have a very good system that we have in place, and we're cranking out documentation, getting it ready for our new site. I think that will be a huge benefit. Okay.
So you just mentioned a new site. What transitioning to the future then? What do you see coming down the road for Rocket Theme? We've got Joomla 3 coming on strong. I know you've branched out in a couple of ways. What kinds of things are in the future, without, of course, telling us any big secrets?
We don't really have secrets. Really, the Rocket Theme version 3 site, which is what we call it, RTV3 is our code name. That has been in development for 1.5 years, and it's basically a revamp of everything, underlying the website, the design, the forums, the whole navigation system, just everything rebuilt from scratch. And of course, if we had a full-time dedicated team that didn't have to do anything else, this could have been done faster. But all of our guys are working on other stuff, so whenever we get time, we can work on this. But this is, I think, going to help people a lot, because we're going to make it much simpler process, to purchase templates, and we're going to introduce an option to be able to purchase templates individually rather than through the club system, which has worked well for us. But even from day one, we've had people saying, I just want this one theme, that's it. Right. So we're going to have that option. So that should make things easier. The whole the documentation system is going to be just amazing. It's so much more information than we ever had before. Really powerful search system, so you can easily find what you're looking for. The forum is going to be moving to Kunena, which you probably know about. Yep. And so it's a Joomla-based forum system. So it'll be simpler, easier to use, better search. Just lots of cool features like that for the site itself. And then, of course, we have grand plans for our products themselves. We're working on a new version of Rock Downloads now. Rock Downloads was our first ever extension, and we never moved it off of Joomla 1.5 because there were bits in it that were too old to really move, and we just had plans we were going to rewrite it. And so now that's happening. And of course, we're putting the Rocket theme treatment on it, so it's going to be super extensible, super powerful and flexible, and hopefully super easy to use and understand. So that's what we're focusing on. We have plans for a new version of Rock Gallery, which was really a game-changing extension, which we've learned a lot from. We kind of pushed the boundaries with that using Doctrine for our database layer, but we found that was somewhat problematic for some users and their hosting providers not providing all the requirements needed for that to run. So kind of go back to the drawing board there, take a lot of the experience that we got and create a new version that's just really awesome. And then, of course, Gantry. Always got plans to add more features and, speed increases, performance, functionality, extensibility, just lots and lots of stuff we have in our pipeline. Just a matter of getting time to do it all.
For sure. Last question. I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Your favorite Rocket theme of all time?
Template?
Yes.
It's a little tricky because usually it's the previous month.
I knew that's what you were going to say.
But that's not always true. I still have a soft spot for a few templates. And I think recently Lumiere, which was the one with the HTML5 video backgrounds, that's a bit of a favorite for mine because it was just really fun to work on. And due to licensing restrictions, we couldn't use some of the videos that we tested with because they just weren't something that we could, distribute with a template.
Right.
And some of them were just amazing. All you got to do is put a cool video with it, pick one color, and the template completely changes, and it's just like stunning. And it's just something that with HTML5 we were able to actually do that, and it's something that we've all wanted to have on our sites, at some point, or another big background video that's playing, really making a dramatic visual impact. And so yeah, I kind of have a soft spot for that one because it's just really fun.
Oh, that's great. Well, listen, Andy, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks very much.
All right.